and welcome. My name is Dana. Thanks for joining me today for this non-weight bearing shoulder strengthening series. It'll strengthen your shoulders and your back, and you'll develop some mobility for the shoulders and the back as well. So notice how I'm already sitting with my chest open. My shoulders are just gently rolled back. Simultaneously, I connect to my navel center and I pull back through my navel center. As we work through these shoulder and back exercises today, it's important to continue to pull your navel back into your spine. Now, as you continue to roll your shoulders back, can you make two gentle fists with your hands? So it's just a gentle engagement in the hands. When I engage and gently squeeze my hands, I feel the muscles of my arms begin to work for me. Maintain that as you roll both of your shoulders back. Begin to pull those fists gently back. So this is called an external rotation of the shoulder, when your shoulders are rolling back like this. Notice how my elbows, they're in towards my sides. I'm not letting them come way out, at least not yet. Next, let's internally rotate the shoulders. So see how I start to bring my fists towards each other. My elbows, they move a little bit away, but I'm not, again, it's not like a bird flapping its wings. I'm keeping my elbows in towards my rib cage. And let's all continue to move through external and internal rotation. Depending on, I don't know, the weakness or mobility, lack of mobility in your shoulders, this might get to be fatiguing right away. And at any point, feel free to rest your hands on your thighs and relax. Otherwise, we'll continue to move between external rotation and internal rotation. Notice how I'm keeping my wrists stacked. In other words, I'm working from my shoulder and I'm not pulling from my fist and bending my wrist. I'm keeping my wrist joint, my fist, and my forearm all in one straight line. A couple more times. I'm also not feeling this in my neck. I'm feeling this in the shoulders, in the back, and I'm continuing to pull my navel towards my spine. Let's end with an external rotation of the shoulder and maintain a wide open chest as you place your hands to your thighs. Keep drawing your navel to your spine as you take a full deep breath in and out. And we're going to add on to this sequence. So once again, I'll make those two fists. I keep my elbows in towards me. I go through external rotation. I feel this in my shoulders and my back. I move into internal rotation. Shoulders and back, external rotation. Now notice how I'll maintain that external rotation. As I begin to take my arms out to the sides and up overhead, notice how I'm trying to take my fists towards each other and above my head, and then I take my arms back out to the sides. I would let my elbows hug into my rib cage, and then I would move through internal rotation. So keep breathing, keep moving, work your shoulders through range. It should never feel painful in the shoulder, especially. So if it's really clicky or painful, please stop and regroup. Another option would be keeping your arms farther out in front of you. See how I have my arms farther out in front of me, but I can still do see how I can do all of these same shapes with my arms farther out in front You'll get less range in your shoulders, but better that than causing pain. Maybe one more time, and still just incredibly aware of the navel center, drawing the navel center back towards the spine. Then we're all going to meet with our hands on our thighs. Take a deep breath in and out. Okay, so next we'll take a break on the fist with Badanguliasana. So we're stretching the fingers, we're stretching the wrists, we're stretching the forearms. And notice how, again, navel is pulling back, as you can see. I'm stretching up through my arms. We're gonna start to pulse the arms forward and then up and back. So for me, it feels really useful to move through a full range, like all the way up and back and then forward. Please move through the range that's feeling useful for you. Like maybe just staying up and pumping is feeling a little bit more useful for you. Maybe working on the stretch of your fingers. Since we did that fist action, that might be appropriate. And then let's all take the arms up and hold, if possible. Navel back, stretch the ribs. Now keep stretching the arms, look up towards the hands, and see which index finger you have on top. That's the index finger you're going to take on top when you look forward. Release the arms and interlock the hands behind you. So I'm taking that same index finger on top, and then I start to roll my shoulders back as I'm pulling my navel back. It's important to continue to cross the hands and the fingers different directions so that you don't end up with an imbalance in the shoulder. Full deep breaths, and I'm going to turn so you can see. Notice how I'm trying to pull my hands towards each other versus, and I'm trying to keep my wrist what I'm calling stacked versus letting the wrist really bend. If you can't quite manage that, you can always grab a belt and pull a belt between your hands. You could also, if you need to and you don't have a prop available, grab for the thumbs, but that's long enough, I'm sure. Place your hands to your thighs and just take a full deep breath in and out. So now I'm taking the second index finger on top. So I am remembering what I saw. I'm changing it. Pressing my palms, lifting up. My navel's drawn back. If this seated pose gets to be uncomfortable at any point, you can start to pump the arms. Change the cross of your legs if you're in a simple cross legs, or you could even sit in a chair. This is about strengthening and opening the shoulders and the back today. We can deal with the legs another day. I'm going to lift my arms all the way up and back. I'll stay here. I'm looking up, I'm seeing which index finger's on top as I look forward. I'm going to remember that one and take that second index finger behind me now as I roll my shoulders back. Lift through the crown of the head. You might decide it's a nice opportunity at this point to open the neck. Notice how I'm lifting my head away from my spine versus kind of pulling the ear down, pulling the ear down. Let's maintain space in the neck. When I come back through center with the head, I release my hands to my thighs. Let's all take a deep breath in and out together. Now adding on to the strength work. So we're making 2 gentle fists, elbows in towards each other, external rotation. Now I'm feeling more tension in my shoulders. If it feels like it works for you, internal rotation, external rotation. You might decide it's time to start moving a bigger range in the shoulders. You might decide, oh, I can squeeze a little bit more in my fists. I can draw my navel back a bit stronger. I'm attempting to rotate my shoulders more and more. So this is how I start to build some strength in the muscles of my shoulder, our stabilizer muscles, our rotator cuff muscles. External rotation, internal rotation. And notice how I am absolutely doing this from the shoulders. I am doing this from my shoulders, from my back strength. I'm not pulling from my hands. I'm not pulling from my whole arm. I'm working in my shoulder. Feel the muscles surrounding your whole shoulder, strengthening and working. When we come towards external rotation, we're going to lift those arms up and then bring it back and then internally rotate. And then again, externally rotate and then bring the arms up and overhead. Okay. So if it's working for you, you're pulling your arms even farther back, but it shouldn't feel harmful, painful on the shoulder. Okay, so then please remember, when we're here at the navel center, this is more accessible for certain shoulder joints. But know that as we move back through, you might decide at this point to start taking your fists towards your outer hips. So see how I'm letting my elbows come a little bit wider. My shoulders are internally rotating, but I'm taking my fists towards my hips. I'm not touching my hips, or I'm trying not to, because that's going to be even more strengthening for the shoulders. Keep drawing your navel to your spine. I'm staying strong in my shoulders as I internally rotate in my shoulders. My fists are coming back. Keep moving, keep breathing. And if that's available for you, you might now decide to take your fists towards each other behind your back. But notice how I'm not forcing the issue. Notice how it's like my whole back body is against a wall. You could even do this whole sequence on another day, standing with your back against a wall, or sitting with your back against a wall, and it can help those back muscles and shoulder muscles engage a bit better. If you're someone who has neck tension, you could try this video another time, standing with your back against the wall. When we come back through external rotation, we can let our hands just gently rest on the thighs. Full deep breath in and out. Okay, so next I'm making 2 gentle fists. See how I'm lifting my elbows to be as high as my shoulders, and then down. And then relax, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe you're good to keep going. So I make 2 gentle fists. I bring, see how I'm bringing my arms out to the sides, but my shoulders, they're still, my shoulder blades are still pulling away from my neck. So now I'm gonna just keep going, lifting and lowering the arms. Keep breathing. I'm going to turn to face you again so you can see how I'm I'm lifting my elbows to be in line with my shoulders. My chest is staying open as I lift and lower. If it feels painful, you stop. Take a break if you need it. Otherwise, we're going to lift up and stay up. Now see how I start to move. You can move right arm through external rotation, left arm through internal rotation, and then start to switch. So I'm gentle to start because I'm certain that my elbows are in line with my shoulders. If it feels painful, remember how a nice fix for that is to bring the elbows a little bit forward. That might be one thing to try. Another thing to try would be to take a break and maybe not do the rotation. Notice how I'm pretty mild with my rotation, but then I start to open up. Just take care of yourself throughout this whole sequence. A couple more times. And then I'm going to let that come through center and release. Okay. So we'll come on to the hands and the knees next. And please know if weight bearing, even just this tiny bit that I'm showing on the hands and the knees doesn't work for you, you can do exactly what I'm showing with your hands on the wall and move the shoulder blades with your hands on the wall. But typically, this is totally fine. So I'll show this way. So with my hands underneath my shoulders, and again, my navel drawing up, I'm going to move my shoulder blades first away from my neck, okay? So see how shoulders pull away from the neck? Then I'll lift my shoulders towards the neck. So I'm elevating my shoulder blades, then I'm depressing my shoulder blades. Keep breathing as you lift and lower the shoulder blades. Draw your navel to your spine as you lift and lower. Another 1 or 2 times, lifting and lowering. So working on the shoulder blades. And then let yourself come through neutral. And next, we'll contract the shoulder blades towards each other and spread them. So see how I retract my shoulder blades. That means I'm pulling my shoulder blades towards each other. I'm keeping my navel up. Then I protract my shoulder blades. I spread my shoulder blades. So pulling the shoulder blades towards each other, then letting them spread apart. So notice how when I pull my shoulder blades towards, my chest moves towards the ground. I'm keeping my arms straight, my navel drawn in as I spread my shoulder blades. Keep breathing, retract, and protract. Deep breaths. A few more times. And then I come through center. So next, I'm going to visualize both my shoulder blades, and I'm going to roll them in a circle. So see how I would retract, I would depress my shoulder blades, I would protract, I would elevate. So I'm actually feeling my shoulder blades roll in a circular way on my rib cage. All of this should feel really good after that strengthening work, which we're getting back to in a moment. And then you could pause and change the direction of the circle. And just know that a great option is practicing this at the wall as well. It's just, you know, there's only so much time here together today. So I'm deciding to do it on the hands and the knees. But keep your arms straight as you move your shoulders. And then I come back through center. Let's take a brief stretch for the wrists and the forearm by spinning the fingers towards the knees. Take a couple full breaths in and out. And then let's let that go. And we'll come back to a seated position. Feel free to change it if it's time for you to do that. Okay. So I'm externally rotating my shoulders. I'm making 2 gentle fists. I'm going to extend my arms forward and keep them straight. And lift my arms up. So this is classic Urdhva Hastasana, would be fingers stretching, but we're keeping 2 gentle fists. Then I bring my arms towards my sides. I'm sucking my navel back. I'm externally rotating my shoulders, and I'm gonna pull both arms back. I feel my back strengthening, my shoulders strengthening. You could do this from mountain pose as well for some variety. Arms forward, arms up. Deep breaths. Right now the triceps are rolling in, or they're rolling like forward towards me, towards the screen. And then arms back, rolling shoulders back. And at any point, feel free to just not have as much range, right? And then we're gonna take arms forward. So like I keep mentioning, having the arms in a more forward plane like this will typically alleviate, it's just an easy way to alleviate pain if you're experiencing it in the shoulder, and then the arms pull back. And I'm rolling my shoulders back. Then I bring my arms through center, and I take my arms straight out to the sides. Okay, if possible, wrists in line with shoulders. Externally rotate your shoulders. See how I'm not just spinning my elbows and my palms. I'm spinning my shoulders, and then I pull up. So important. Arms out to the sides, and then let your wrists spin down, but notice how I kept my shoulders open and rolling back. I bring my arms back, and then pull the arms towards the wall behind you. Now, externally rotate your shoulders by spinning your palms away from each other. Okay, so this is more range, so be mindful. I'm externally rotating in my shoulders, and I'm bringing my arms up and overhead. I pull my arms back. Now I'm going to externally rotate my shoulders, I'm internally rotating my shoulders by pressing my palms out away from each other, and then I'm pulling my navel back and I bring my arms back. So arms are behind, pull the arms back, externally rotate the shoulders, pull the arms back and up, back and up, back and up, back and up, back and up. Take a deep breath. Then internally rotate the shoulders, pull the arms back, back, back. Keep lifting through the crown of the head. Okay, arms back, externally rotate the shoulders. Take the arms up. Take a deep breath, in and out. Now I internally rotate my shoulders, pull the arms back. Back, 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 back. Next to the sides. And then hands come to the thighs. Awesome. Take a deep breath in and out. Deceivingly challenging. Okay. So I want to come into Shalabhasana position, locust pose flat on the abdomen, and we're going to repeat this type of arm work just flat on the abdomen. It is more strengthening. So if you need a little less, you just sit or you stand in mountain pose. So notice how I'm setting my feet hips width apart. I need a pad underneath me. You can do whatever you need. Notice how I'm connecting the fronts of my hips into the ground. My toes are stretching back. Inner thighs rotate up. Deep middle glutes firm towards the ground. And my head feels totally great on the ground. If your neck hurts, you should put a blanket underneath your head as well. Make 2 gentle fists. Suck your navel to your spine. Lift your 2 arms up and away from the ground. Now keep lifting your arms, suck your navel up, keep your head down. Externally rotate in your shoulders. So your palms, they're going to spin towards the ground. Now keep spinning in your shoulders as you take your arms out forward and in front of you, keeping those 2 gentle fists. Take a deep breath, keep sucking your navel to your spine. Now externally rotate in your shoulders. Lift your arms a little higher and then release your arms down. So that's probably a lot, right? So we're going to go again. Suck your navel, keep your deep middle glutes tight. Externally rotate your shoulders and pick your arms up. Deep breaths, arms up. Do your best. Navel up, arms up. Now internally rotate in your shoulders and take your arms out to the sides. Keep them up. Take your arms out to the sides. Keep them up. Lift them higher when you get back to that starting position. And then release your arms. We're going to do that 2 more times. Navel up, deep middle glutes tight. Lift your arms. Externally rotate your shoulders. Squeeze your back. Keep your arms up. Keep externally rotating as you take your arms forward. Keep your arms up. External rotate. Arms up, navel up, and then 2 arms down. Externally rotate, navel up, 2 arms up. Now internally rotate your shoulders. Try to keep your arms straight. Take your arms out to the sides. Keep your arms up. Keep your arms up. And then release your arms down. Take a deep breath. Last one. Glutes tight, navel tight, arms up, externally rotate. And then 2 arms forward. Keep your arms up, externally rotate, straight elbows. And 2 arms down. Last one. So navel tight, glutes tight, arms up. Then internally rotate your shoulders. Take your arms out to the sides, out to the sides. Keep your arms up. And then let your arms go. Full deep breath. So remember the interlock of the fingers we did behind us from sitting? We're going to do that now in Shalabhasana. Okay? So, and we're going to actually pick up the head and the chest this time if it feels good. So stretch back through your toes, tighten your glutes, suck your navel up, make 2 gentle fists. Lift your arms and externally rotate next. Lift your chest and your head. If you feel it in the neck, bring the head down. Next, can you interlock your fingers behind you? Try to keep your wrists in line with the fists and the forearms as you lift. Deep breaths in and out. Squeezing deep middle glutes, keeping navel lifted. Wiggle which index finger you have on top because, of course, you're going to change it in a moment. Another deep breath. And then gently let it all go. Full deep breath in and out. And one more time. Making 2 gentle fists. Middle glutes tight, navel firm. Lift your arms, externally rotate. From there, lifting chest and head from there. Taking second interlock of fingers behind you. Keep your wrists in line with your fists and your forearms. Deep breaths. Another deep breath in and out. And let it go. Full deep breath, recover. Okay, now arms out to the sides, elbows bent, elbows in line with shoulders. So next, training the shoulders and the back. As far as the shoulder blade placement, shoulder blades depress, or they move away from the neck. Still glute and navel engagement. You're going to take your head, keep it on the ground with 2 gentle fists. I'd like you to lift your forearms to be parallel with the ground and hold. So oftentimes there's the tendency to either try to lift from the hands like this and the wrists, or to drop the shoulders and lift from the elbows. I'm not going to do either of those to myself again. I'm going to keep my forearms parallel now. Deep breaths. Okay, so now, so it's great to just lift, and then why don't we all just take a quick break and lower. You can stay with that work, or we're going to do what we did at the very beginning of class, which is depress the shoulder blades, lift the forearms. We're going to begin to internally rotate and take the fists towards the hips, then move back through external rotation and take the fists towards each other, towards above the crown of the head. If this feels like it's too much, sit upright. Okay, otherwise come along with me. I'm aware that my forearms are parallel with the ground. Then I would internally rotate. I would take my fists towards my hips and maybe even towards my low back. So I'm going to let you observe for yourself. Continue to work strongly in your shoulders as we finish up with this last bit of strength work. Work deeply in your shoulders. Don't give up on yourself. Stay firm in your back and your shoulders. And we would all meet back with the arms bent out to the sides. Relax and take a deep breath in and out. All right. So let's start to release the neck and shoulders all the way, pressing up onto the hands and the knees, and we're going to come back to those shoulder circles that we did before. So hands under the shoulders. Okay, we're going to work through elevation and depression of the shoulder blades. So lifting and lowering. I feel my shoulder blades gliding on my rib cage. I don't know about you, but I feel way less stuck than I did the first time. Keep sucking your navel to your spine as you retract and protract the shoulder blades. And then we can move a circle, first direction, and second direction. And then as we come back through center, just work out any last little tight bits. And before we end in a seated posture, let's take cat and cow full pose a few times, letting your exhalation round your spine and your inhalation arch your spine. So get full and complete movement through your neck, your shoulders, the muscles of your back, and the rest of your spine. Work that last bit out. And then come through center and let's end together in a seated pose. If you would rather lie flat on your back, that's great as well, but it's nice to end sitting if possible here with the eyes closed, hands comfortably resting, so that we can observe any shift, any difference that has come in the shoulders, the chest, the back. Hopefully, there's a sense of strength and stability that's come from this practice. Feel your shoulders externally rotate. And as your shoulders externally rotate, allow the heart to be strengthened, supported, and opened through the strength of your back, the strength of your shoulder girdle. Let the strength of your back and your shoulders support and open your heart. Integrate that strength of the shoulders by drawing your navel center to your spine. Feel as if there's a string at the navel center and you are pulling that string back to your spine and tying your navel to your spine. And finally, feel your tailbone anchor down into the earth underneath you. Feel a string at your tailbone and tie that string down into the center of the earth. Stay grounded. Stay connected. Stay collected. As now with open palms, you externally rotate the shoulders, open the heart, and place the palms together at the heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.